The nightclub comedy is the hardest thing, in my opinion. That's it. There's nothing tougher, but it's great preparation for a lot of things.
I remember actually my father would talk about vaudeville and
Same thing.
comedy as actually being wonderful training grounds.
It is.
Yeah.
It's you're also caught sometimes in the moment where something that didn't work on Monday, on Tuesday, for some reason there's a thing, an airplane. Here it comes. Another, and this, you add and you build, and suddenly something happens.
You also worked with Robin Williams.
I did.
Really in Moscow on the Hudson. Excuse me, yeah, Moscow on the Hudson. Yeah. The piece that kind of established him in a lot of ways as a serious actor.
He had done The World According to Garp.
Right.
He was very good in that.
Right.
And then he did Moscow on the Hudson. I think he was very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Very talented man. You know, my only thing with Robin was contain him a little bit, which I think I achieved it. And he's extremely bright, but and I want him to do less. So we had a couple of little, not big scuffles, but you know, about less.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. He really is. He's the quickest mind I think I've ever been there.
Who stands out to you? I mean, whose comedy sticks with you?
I could laugh at W.C. Fields. Who knows why? I mean, just endless. Just kills me.
How about comic actors?
Peter Sellers was a great genius, and I had a long, checkered, on and off 6-month, 8-month relationship with him, which I don't want to go into here. You got to read Show Me the Magic to read the chapter about Peter Sellers. He was a genius, a great comic actor, and I did the one picture with him. I Love You, Alice, because I would say Strange Love is as good as it gets. Lolita. I'm All Right, Jack. Great comic actor. Great specificness, control. Also did some stuff that wasn't that good, but he did a lot of great things. But then there are actors who are able to do, I mean, Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy, that's great comic acting. It's great. Jimmy Stewart, Cukor, they had a documentary on George Cukor. Phenomenal stuff. I mean, what a track record. Philadelphia Story, Holiday, A Double Life with Ronald Colman and Shelley Winters is in 3 of my movies.
I'm intrigued by what you said about the blank page. Do you approach that way to your directing your projects? Or to your writing? I guess you have to.
Yeah, I do different things in different situations. I've written or co-written most of the movies that I've written, about 15 scripts that I made movies of. And sometimes I rehearse a lot, if you have the time to do it. Bob and Carol was my first picture. And so I didn't know anything about making movies. I'd made a short, and I'd studied editing at USC at night. I was writing for Danny Kaye in the daytime, which is another story. And when we wrote the script, Larry Tucker and I, and Mike Frankovich, the producer, said, "Okay, you can direct it." I was flabbergasted. So I worked out whatever I could, but I got 2 weeks rehearsal. And I don't think I could have done it without it. So in every movie I made since then, I try to rehearse, but there are some scenes that I don't want to rehearse. I want that first. Scenes with psychiatrists. I often use a real...
You have several of those.
I have several. I've had several in my life, too. And they're all nervous breakdowns now. But in Bob and Carol, there's a great scene with Diane Cannon and the therapist. And all I told Diane is it's a real analyst.
I had never heard TT before.
What expression do you use with your children?
Vagina.
He shook her up. She's great in the scene. And it was quite amusing. And very good acting. But I do rehearse, and I guess what I'm trying to say is, the more I've directed, the more I like to leave the actor alone. I don't like to do anything. It's like Cobb said, unless they're not doing anything right. And usually, I find if you cast correctly, if you're lucky enough to have done it, you can hit a home run. If you made a mistake, you're in a lot of trouble.
Well,
And in this picture, in Bob and Carol, the first one we cast was Natalie Wood. She's the only one I went to. And I was not sure I wanted to use her. I don't know, could she do satire? Was she this? Was she that? Then I went to England to meet her, and you fall in love with her. She was a wonderful woman. And then we cast Bob Culp, who was an I Spy and was perfect for the part. And then I cast Elliot Gould, who, up until then, we'd read every actor in Hollywood of that age. Dick Benjamin, Jimmy Caan, Peter Falk, everybody, who at that time was about 30, around that age. Everybody. And none of them worked. They were very good actors, but the lines, and Elliot walked in and said, hello. And I gave him the part. And then we tested for Diane Cannon's part.
You know, I'm very moved. Really, I feel I'm sharing a very
I had an affair.
precious moment with you. That's good, honey. I mean, I feel that it's right there.
I
You're
had an
telling me
affair.
something, honey. I said that's good. I mean, you just don't come right out and tell everybody.
I had an affair when I was in Miami.
It's a great film. I mean, if I say so myself, looking at it, I thought it fulfilled lots of good things happen in the movie. It's funny, and it was oddly touching.